Okay, good morning, everyone. It is, I checked the date, Monday, September 21st. Super excited to talk a little bit more about what we learned at convention and especially the new products. That's always a highlight. Before I get into it, I do want to let you know, if you haven't seen or heard yet, we are doing a full convention recap, an abridged version. So we're going to scale it down for anybody who, one, didn't have time to watch convention or didn't get on there. Two, if you watched it and you want to discuss, that's one of the fun things. Like when we usually go in person, we all sit around and talk about it after. And so that's what this will be. It'll be a Zoom call tomorrow night. We'll get the details to you. If you need that link, just let one of us know and we'll get that to you. But it's tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, so Utah time. And it's going to be a lot of fun. It won't just be me talking. It'll be a bunch of us and sharing all of the gems, not just the new products, but just the heart of the company and all the love and all the things that we learn at convention. I love that. So join us tomorrow night, please. I believe we're recording it, but jump on live if you can, because it's so much more fun to discuss and sit and talk about what stood out to you or what you loved about it, or ask the questions, maybe things that you missed. We've done that even amongst ourselves, trying to understand some of the things that have been launched and understand better what's going on. So please join us live for that tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And then with that, 6 p.m. tonight, continuing education class. I believe it's class number 3. I taught number 2 last week, which was essential oils and like eliminating toxic living, like ways to swap out things so that you are not exposed to so many toxins every day. So that was last week. If you need that recording, let me know. Tonight should be 3. I want to say it's essential oils at every age, but I might be getting that wrong. Anyway, they're all worth it. Once you've watched all 8, let your person know, because we do have a certificate and a gift for you if you have done all 8 of the continuing education classes. But the real joy there is in learning all of that. So join us tonight, 6 p.m. if you can. Catch the recording if you can't. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. for that convention recap. The really cool thing too is if you find stuff in there that you really liked, but you want to see the rest of it, you can still buy for $30 the convention, what's it called now? Recording, I guess. It was live streamed. So, but we can watch it all the way through October 31st. So if you find that you're like, I really like that and I want to know more, then you can still buy it. So join us tomorrow night and see what we learned and what you might like. So, okay, jumping right in. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. We are talking this morning about Helichrysum Touch. Super excited about this. This was a holiday item last year I thought I grabbed my little box. It came in a cute little tube cardboard box that has Helichrysum Touch, Serenity Touch, and Balance Touch in it. And I'll tell you what, it didn't sell out. And so that's an item that I've been buying almost monthly just to have access to this Helichrysum Touch and the others. Like, who doesn't love Balance and Serenity, 2 of my favorites. But Helichrysum is one of those that it's such an amazing oil, but in order to get it up to this point, you had to either just use what you had in your Immortelle, because it is in there, and that's great, that's how I've used it, or buy the little 5 milliliter bottle for, it's been updated. It used to be $75 wholesale. Such a precious oil. So this is really exciting because this makes it more affordable for everybody to have access to. And that's what I love. I have an entire group on my team in Southern Illinois that loves this oil, and that's not an easy thing for everyone to fit into their budget, is that $75. And I totally understand that. This is something that they've used. This is not compliant, so I'm just going to be really honest with you guys. So tinnitus, which is ringing in the ear, there are not a lot of options for, and I'll tell you how this started there, just my quick little story. I taught a class there. I had had the hostess there and then one woman show up, and we taught this class. And toward the end, she mentioned that her husband had been to the doctor that day for ringing in the ears. This man is amazing. He actually was hit by 2 trains. 2 trains. Was in a coma. I mean, amazing survival story. Amazing. And one of the lasting effects of that, years and years later, was the tinnitus, the ringing in the ear, which meant when everything got quiet at night, when he would lay down to go to sleep, that's when that chirping would get louder, and he struggled with sleep. So this translated into not getting much sleep. He'd get up in the middle of the night and start, doing work or whatever he had to do. I think he was ironing shirts or whatever he had to do because he just couldn't sleep. And so I looked in the book. I had not dealt with this before. I looked in the book and it said Helichrysum. And I said, I don't have a sample of Helichrysum, but I know it's in deep blue. So I grabbed a sample of deep blue. I'm like, try this. If you get any relief at all, you know, around the ear, putting that around the ear diluted. I said, then it's probably worth investing in buying the Helichrysum. Well, she called her husband. He came to that class. So we went through it again, talked really quickly about all of the oils and what they do and how they work. And they bought it. They bought the, you know, got started with their account and their Helichrysum that they added onto the kit because it was that bad. He's like, you know what, let's just try it. They both agreed on that. And because of that experience, there are now several people who are getting relief from Helichrysum in that area because they talk about it and they share about that. And so many people deal with this, and it's not something that always comes up. And it's also not something that there's really a prescription for. In fact, that's what the doctor had said. And that was kind of their deciding vote, was if he had gone to that doctor that day and the doctor, well, when he went to the doctor that day, if the doctor had said, I have something that will work, but it's $75, they would have purchased it. And that's kind of how they got to that point where they're like, let's try it. Let's see what we can do here. And it's been giving them amazing relief. A lot of them will put it in a roller and dilute it, so in a touch form themselves, and now we can buy it direct from the company this way. And just after you start talking about the things that you've dealt with, you'll find other people who are dealing with it, and people just keep sharing this. And that's, I have literally an entire group of people who love Helichrysum. It's their favorite oil for that, but we're going to get into what else it's great for. So 5 facts you might not know about Helichrysum. 1, I used to call it Helichrysum. So there, I'm going to start with that fact. I didn't know it was Helichrysum. You could probably say it either way, but now I've started saying Helichrysum since I found out that that's the way to say it. But the name is derived from Greek helios, meaning sun, and chrysos, meaning gold. So it refers to the color of the flowers, sun and gold. It's been used in herbal health practices since ancient Greece, and it's highly valued and sought after for its many health benefits. I'm telling you, this is like first aid in a bottle. And in my first aid kit, I had a 5 milliliter of Helichrysum. I saved up, I actually used points, kind of how I do my expensive oils. And I put that in my first aid kit. But I'm swapping that out now for my Helichrysum Touch. This is such a better usable form for a first aid kit, especially if one of my children is going to use it or whatever. So I'm pretty excited about the Touch for that as well. It's a small perennial herb with narrow silver leaves and flowers. They form a cluster of golden yellow ball-shaped blossoms. So there you go. It's often used to prevent the signs of aging, thus its addition to Immortelle, right? The inclusion of it in Immortelle. It's referred to as the everlasting flower because of its rejuvenating benefits for the skin, and it can improve complexion. So it improves so many different things, including, like I said, anti-aging and then also complexion. It's considered part of the sunflower family. That was something I didn't know until I was prepping for this call this morning. So let me see here. I've got somebody chatting in. I don't know if you guys can see that. Ooh, okay, okay, I've got to share at the end. I'm excited. Okay, Betty, share with that at the end for me. Sourced from Corsica and Albania. This just is a really great visual. I love visuals. What it takes to make one bottle, 4 pounds of flowers. And if you think how light flowers are, how lightweight they are, we're talking 4 pounds of Helichrysum flowers to produce 5 milliliters of Helichrysum oil. So that's also part of why it's so expensive, right? So 38 studies have been published on the benefits of Helichrysum. So if you're really sciencey minded and you like to see the science, I love that. I'm a dork. There are 38 plus studies published on it. It's a member of the daisy family. It's a small perennial herb, so we've gotten into that. But I love these visuals because they also show what it works well with, right? So if you're looking at what can I pair this with, there you go, lemon, cypress, bergamot, frankincense, and Roman chamomile. So some great other oils that you can blend it with, whether you want to diffuse it or use it topically or however you'd like to use that. The main chemical constituents, if you like that, it's very cleansing and also relaxing. So it's got that great combination there. I'm just gonna scoot my picture out of the way. So steam distilled, obviously with those delicate flowers, it makes sense. They can't like really cold press those. It's kind of an herbaceous honey hay smell. That's probably a really good description. I wish I'd read that before. When people ask what it smells like, it's really tough for me to describe it. So there you go. You can apply topically to reduce the appearance of blemishes. you can use it in a full body massage to promote vitality and energy. It may help promote a healthy metabolism and, again, the appearance of skin. So I like these tips at the bottom of these presentation images where it tells you a practical application, like here's a recipe or here's how to use it. Melt a 1/4 cup of beeswax and 2 tablespoons shea butter, both very good for the skin. Add a 1/2 cup of olive oil, 1/2 cup of fractionated coconut oil, a teaspoon of vitamin E, 12 drops of Helichrysum, and 2 tablespoons of zinc oxide. It's a healthy sunscreen. Sunscreen is one of the most toxic things that we use, and we're learning these days what it does and how it's disrupting for our marine life and also for us reproductively in all sorts of ways. So this is such a great practical use of it, is you can melt all of that together, mix it together. You could even whip that up if you wanted to make it a really fluffy option for sunscreen, or sun cream they call it. But this will help give you a little bit of protection from the sun while allowing you still to develop that and produce the vitamin D that you need. When we use sunscreen, we don't produce vitamin D and we need it. Helps with aches and bruises. If you've not tried this, if you have a really nasty bruise, put a drop of Helichrysum right on it and watch it almost before your eyes just kind of clear up. It's really cool. I've watched that break up on people. Cleanse, clears, and repairs skin, wrinkles, and stretch marks, in case you have any of those. As we get older, some of us develop wrinkles, stretch marks. Put it in your face lotion, or now with the touch, roll it on, and then put your face cream over the top of it, and then you've got that massaged in. Heavy metal detox. A lot of us have been exposed to metals, whether it's in vaccines or in our amalgam fillings or whatever it is, right? We've been exposed to metals, and you can help detox some of those things that the body's not supposed to hold on to long term. So roll it on the bottom of your feet and just detox. Great bone support. A lot of us need that. Head and brain support. Love that. It's the oil of transcending pain. Intense emotional pain, trauma, powerless, despair, heartache, feelings, any of those feelings, it can help you deal with and cope with, and then become whole and healed, courageous, hopeful, victor, transforming, renewed, committed. I know I scanned one time early on when I didn't really understand scanning and I wasn't really sure if it was accurate and all, and I scanned for Helichrysum, and I was like, why Helichrysum? I don't know what's going on in my body that I need that for. And I remember looking in the emotions book, the essential oil emotions book, and looking up Helichrysum, and it said it was for, I think, the walking wounded. And it was really interesting because I had just gone through my divorce at that point. And I thought, dang, that is really a great description of how I felt. So I started using Helichrysum. 5 ways to use it. I love the visuals. You guys can see that. I pull all the visual slides. Anti-aging serum. Balance your emotions, right? Feeling a little chaotic, it can help ground you and help you feel centered. It can also help clarify your thoughts and strengthen your memory skills. This is something I desperately need as I go through life, as I go through stresses, I think my kids kind of stopped my memory a little bit. I don't know. So I need that. I need that more and more. It's kind of scary as I start losing my memory. Spider vein remover. Most of us know somebody who's dealing with spider veins. There's some pretty invasive ways to deal with those, but you can put the Helichrysum on the skin there where it is and help heal up those spider veins. Here's a recipe for a focus roll on. There you go. And then add the Helichrysum to that, and then muscle soreness. It's great. That's why it's included right in Deep Blue. Is it's amazing for muscle soreness, and we're going to get into another way. Here you go, a couple of things here. Nosebleeds, that's one I wanted to point out. I had nosebleeds like crazy as a child, and they assumed that it was allergies. I don't really know. They went away for years and years, and now I've been struggling with them recently again. So kind of interesting, and I loved what Emily Wright shared when she talked about Helichrysum Touch, was that her daughter has a good friend that gets nosebleeds quite often, and so they'll roll it on or put it on a little tissue on each end and then tuck that into both nostrils, kind of just a little like U shape, and put it in both nostrils to help stop a nosebleed, which is really helpful. It's better than cauterizing your nose, right? Shock and pain relief, psoriasis and other skin conditions. We talked a little bit about varicose veins, bleeding and hemorrhaging. So it really can help stop excessive bleeding, right? That's where it helps with nosebleeds. Sometimes I would get nosebleeds for an hour or two, and recently I've started again, it'd be like an hour, and it's really disruptive to my life, but it's also really bad to lose that much blood. So it can help your blood clot. Also, my daughter was recently diagnosed with von Willebrand's disease, which I had never heard of, and did a lot of research on it. She lacks the protein to make her platelets sticky. And so she has a lot of bleeding. If she starts bleeding, then it can go on and on. And so having the Helichrysum in our first aid kit and at our fingertips is vital. If anybody is, a lot of people go undiagnosed with that. So if you get nosebleeds a lot, or you have, when you start bleeding, you continue bleeding long term, look into that, and grab your Helichrysum. There you go, tinnitus and earache, just roll it around the ear, in front of the ear, not in the ear. You don't need to put it in the ear, put it around. You don't want to put it in the ear. Cough and congestion. We've got some respiratory stuff going around right now, and we're about to enter flu season and everything else. So just to help with cough and congestion, alcohol and heavy metal detox. There you go. You can also take it internally, it says. So you can help promote that healthy liver and pancreatic function and detox that heavy metal. Emotional balance. We talked a little bit about that. Let me skip to top 10 uses. I love these visuals. I get these from your oil tools. You can see that in the bottom right hand corner. I follow them on Instagram, on Facebook. I love that they do just highlighting different oils in the top 10 uses. So again, it covers some of the same things we talked about, but digestive disorders, kind of when we're talking about the liver and some of the things that can help detox, digestive disorders in there. Gallbladder disorders. I don't know if you're like me, but I know so many people who have had gallbladder issues and end up getting their gallbladder removed to help with that, and then long-term have different problems. Most of us need most of the organs we were born with, and the gallbladder oftentimes is not the problem, but the indication that there's a problem. So if you could help, like help heal that a little bit or help soothe that, there you go, Helichrysum. Muscle inflammation, wound healing, infections, allergies, candida. A lot of us dealing with candida and not knowing it. It can be the underlying problem or issue with allergies and acne and all. And then my very favorite part to share about Helichrysum, liquid stitches. So when we talk about muscle soreness, when we talk about wound healing, we're literally talking about liquid stitches. So when our muscles are sore, when we've worked out really hard and we've had tearing in the muscles to help build them, applying that's why it's in deep blue, right? Applying that deep blue is not just cosmetic. It literally goes in there and helps heal and stitch tissue back together. If you have the form of Helichrysum not deep blue, and you can wipe it right over a cut, you can watch it start to seal it right up. So Helichrysum not only stops the bleeding, it also helps repair that tissue and stitch it together. So I could go on all day about Helichrysum. I really love it. I just want you to know that we can now get it every month that you want to, starting in October. If you buy the convention kit, it comes in there. But if not, then get it on your LRP in October and have that available to you and your family in the touch form. Kind of amazing and more affordable. So I'm gonna pop off of my sharing and go back to view. And I want to hear, Betty, I want to hear this testimonial. I'm going to mute myself so you guys can dive in.
Yeah, so as you were talking about Helichrysum, I called up to Win and I said, hey, you got to come share. So this is Win, and I think, is it your favorite next to cedarwood, or what do you think?
It's probably my most favorite.
Yeah, deep blue, cedarwood, and Helichrysum.
Helichrysum. So first of all, I learned so much about, I didn't even know so many other properties of the Helichrysum. But let me just tell you 1 minute's worth. My family and I were hiking, and some of us were climbing in Yosemite Park. We were doing some pretty steep climbing, descending, and Win took a very, very nasty fall about 2/3 of the way down the mountain, and I tore my quad. So I had some major trauma. I didn't even think I could get off the mountain, but we made it limping. My son helped me off the mountain. Anyway, a long story short, came home, went to 2 of the finest sports medicine doctors here in the Utah area. The first one told me I needed surgery right away to repair the muscle. I tore the muscle in half is what it happened, or not the whole thing, but a portion of it. The other doctors said I had a 50-50 chance on without doing surgery, but I would never be the same. And so he said I would lose my strength. I would not limp, but I wouldn't be running the same way, and I wouldn't have the same strength.
This guy's a marathoner, so running
Wow.
Yeah, so running is part of me. And so by this time, I've already had several experiences with Helichrysum, and I had just total faith that the Helichrysum would heal me. And so for 6 months, I applied Helichrysum every day, morning, night, sometimes in the day. And after the 6 months, I totally have healed. I have done marathons again, half marathons, and the Olympic size triathlon. So I'm back to 100%. I never lost any of the strength in the leg. And I'm telling you, the Helichrysum is what got me through this, because it allows the body to heal itself. So there.
That is incredible. That's truly amazing. And never surgery. Did you do
No surgery. No surgery. I still have a lump in my leg where the muscle kind of bunched up.
Yeah, that's interesting. The bunched up when it pulled away. Didn't pull away from the knee. It just tore through the middle of the quad, and it bunched up. So he's got this hump, but he can do it all.
Okay, yep,
Everything
I'm back to 100%.
Oh my goodness. Well, and that sometimes is normal. I know my son broke his arm, and when the body heals itself, sometimes it puts extra reinforcements right in that area.
Yeah.
And so it, like, to just have that, like a little like lump there, where that's incredible. It's amazing. You shared that.
I have to tell you, when I first started Helichrysum, I did not like the smell. Now I am in love with it. So
That's a unique thing too, right? About oils, where initially there are some that I just don't love the smell of, but as I feel it like working in whatever way for me or my family, I start to like it. I develop a like for that. Hey, Angela raised a hand. Angela, can you unmute yourself? Go ahead, unmute and ask.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, look how you are. Hi, Angela.
Hi. So I'm very excited to receive this. I've been wanting Helichrysum since I got my first order back in May, I guess it was. So question though, and I'm not sure if you asked it or if you answered this, is this ingestible?
It is. Now in the touch form, it's a little bit trickier because it's in a roller.
Right. So not in a touch.
It's not recommended. Let me look here, but I'll show you.
Right, but in the straight oil, you can put it in a veggie cap.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yes, you can. I was going to find one here if I've got it handy. It does have, if I can get this in front of the camera, it does have supplement facts, so it's safe for ingestion. Absolutely.
Okay, and so the other question, which I don't know if this applies to every oil, but is there an amount like that we're supposed to be putting in the veggie caps for each? Like with On Guard, I've been doing 1 to 2 drops, but are all of the oils different, or will there be a formula?
Yes and no, and that was the hardest thing for me. I think when I started using oils was wanting an exact dosing, right? I grew up with a nurse as a mom. I know dosing. That's a pretty safe start, is 1 to 2 drops. And with the oils, just like with herbs, more often is better than more oil. The body burns them off pretty quickly, like food. And so if you're dealing with a chronic problem, I would rather do 1 or 2 drops in the morning and 1 or 2 drops at night, as opposed to doing 2 to 4 drops once a day, right? I'm going to get better benefits if I do that multiple times. So yeah, it's a pretty safe start, is 1 to 2 drops. And as you listen to your body, if you feel something working and you feel like you need a bit more, then go for it. But they're really powerful, and we typically don't need a whole lot because they're so concentrated.
Yep. And some of my my customers, clients, whatever you guys want to say, they've asked me the same thing. So I've been guiding them in that way. And so I feel, thank you for validating my answer, because that's what I was saying. But I'm like, is that even right? Should I be like, and you get a little bit of different answers from Google, and I don't know why I probably did ask Timber that before, but I just thought I'd ask now that while we were on the call.
Well, and there are certain things I think that I have to hear over and over again before it finally sinks in. I mean, you try to retain as much info as you can, and we do our best. I think also, I love that Wynn shared his experience, because that's kind of what I went with. I gravitated to, what did you do? What worked for you? And that helped me in the beginning, right? Like, how many drops and how many of this? Because then I was able going forward to then kind of navigate it a little bit better. But I needed that start. Like, give me a recipe. Where do I start? And yeah, the 1 to 2 drops is a great place to start. And I will say this, I've done things where I've combined, you know, let's say I'm doing 10 different oils because I need all the different benefits. I don't necessarily need a full drop of all 10 oils, but I just want part of all of them in there. I'll mix them in either an old empty bottle, doTERRA bottle, I'll mix those in there, and then use a dropper to just use 1 or 2 drops of the 10 together, or whatever I'm using. I've done that a lot more recently, and that way you kind of do get multiples. It's like the On Guard Plus soft gels, right? They have multiple oils in there, but not necessarily full drops of each oil because they are so concentrated and so helpful that you can just mix, you know, a blend together and then just use 1 or 2 drops of that blend. So,
right. Okay.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Great. Thank you, hon.
Yeah, thanks, Emma. Thanks for asking. Trisha's got a story. Trisha, can you unmute yourself? Are you able to do that? I don't know what I've done.
As I can, because I know we're over time. But got a friend, Brian Krishiznik. Some of you may have heard of his name. He's really nationally known artist. And he was actually making a fence and pounded his nail, his thumb, instead of a nail. And he actually went to the local dentist office, who was her friend, and he actually took an x-ray, and he said, you shattered it. And you know, you're not gonna be able to put anything, you just shattered it. And it wasn't his painting hand, but still he does big paintings, and that was an issue for him. Helichrysum, 2 weeks later, went back for the another x-ray, and the dentist said, what have you done? He said, it's healed, I can't believe it. Sorry, you're hearing a lot of grandkids. We got 5 here this morning. So I'm going to mute myself again, but that's the story, and I'm sticking to it, okay?
Thank you. Holy cow, that's incredible as well. I love hearing that. We talk about the bone support that it is, but to actually hear where it's worked in a testimonial, I think is more powerful. So thank you for sharing that. That's incredible. You guys see, we could go on with all of our stories all day. I don't know if anybody else has anything they want to jump in and share. I'd be happy to let you share. Or any other questions? No, are we good? I'm not seeing anybody hopping on. So thank you everyone for sharing. If you have anything else, just comment where we post the recording and let us know if you've had a great experience with it. I've got Wrestler, so this is also going in my purse. I've used the Immortelle for years, but now I have Helichrysum, and when somebody gets a nosebleed, a lot of times they have to continue wrestling and creates its own issues as the blood's pumping fast, right? And it continues to bleed. I'm totally putting this across the bridge of the nose, or they use little tampons, and you can put it right on the end of that and stuff that as they pack the nose. So not the most glamorous thing to say, but it's a reality of things that we deal with. Also with baseball players or whatever else. That's my experience is having this with me. I'm gonna carry it with me in this form now, and now that I can get more of it, I always hesitate to use things when I can't get more of it, and now that I know I can get it all the time, I'm so excited to have access to this Helichrysum Touch. Thank you everyone who joined us this morning, and if you're watching the recording, thank you for joining. Please continue to share if you have stories or experiences or questions. We'd love to hear that. But have a great day. We'll see you guys tomorrow night on the convention recap. 7 p.m. Mountain Time, and then tonight, like I said, the continuing education class, 6 p.m. tonight Mountain Time, and we can get you that link as well if you need that. Okay, bye everyone.